Hello.
Okay.
And now let's turn the microphone on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, driver.
Oh,
You know,
so
that color change.
I'm getting the video as private.
Changes from, and then when
Yeah.
I
New.
Okay.
Hello.
Ah, okay. There it is. Now I'm hearing the echo of myself. Echo, echo,
quit
echo.
talking about me while I'm up here working. Hey,
I think we are. I think we're live. I want to check with our team here. I think we're good. This is on. Testing, testing. That works. I like the look of that. Okay. I got confirmation from my wife. It's working. Okay. And so can we get our timer?
Yes, timers are ready. You let me know.
Okay. Do you have a 10-minute timer also? Let's start with the neutral time. Okay. So, all right. You ready to go, Mr. Steven?
ladies and gentlemen, we're glad to see you here. You're going to see some competition that's going to blow your mind. And we're also on TV worldwide, YouTube. Yeah, worldwide. You didn't know that?
It is the World Wide Web.
That's exactly right. And we're going to have a lot of fun here, but we have a lot of people that are waiting for the introduction. So here we go.
Well, first,
Ladies, hush. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Lincolnshire Marriott Hotel and Resort in Lincolnshire, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Here are our competitors. And Jeff is going to have each one of them tell you a little something about themselves. Is there anything you wanted to do before you did that little chore?
well, I wanted to introduce our announcer and host and our sponsor for this event tonight, Mr. Steve Fallon from pipestud.com.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And of course, Jeff Graychick, Jail and Pipes also sponsoring with us. But we have three outstanding competitors, three of the top pipe makers in the world. And the fourth top pipe maker in the world is going to interview each one of them and let you hear a little bit about who they are and why they chose to come here without pay.
First, we have Scotty Pearsall. Scotty, will you tell us where you're from and as a brief introduction of yourself as a pipe maker?
Oh, hey, I'm not from Kansas. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Missouri.
Missouri, yeah. You know why that is?
I don't.
So up until about 10 years ago, when we first got our first state senator that could read, we all thought it was an A. And he was like, "Hey guys, it's an I. It's Missouri." So there you go. What else did you want to know?
How long you been making pipes?
I've been making pipes for almost 12 years, right around 12 years. I was pregnant with our son when I made my first one for Heath as a Father's Day gift. Hi. So sorry you're stuck at home with the kids.
Thank you for being stuck at home with the kids.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Scotty. And our next competitor is from sunny California, is Jared Coles.
Yes. Hello.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Jared.
I have also been making pipes for about 12 years. 2000 Christmas, no, New Year's Eve, 2009, first pipe kit. So I've been making pipes for 12 years. Been lucky enough to be doing it professionally for most of that time.
And Jared, how long did it take you to make that first pipe kit?
Several weeks.
You have 1 hour.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be challenging.
All right.
Hey, I can go ahead and do
Absolutely.
Tommy Ascorti because I speak Italian.
Okay.
Como está usted?
Bene, grazie. But it's not Italian, it's Spanish.
You're not supposed to tell everybody that. Okay, so, all right, spaghetti.
Pomodoro.
I agree, it's awesome stuff. So what got you decided to come and play with the gang?
Real. I didn't decide, but Jeff said you have to do that. So, so I said, okay, it's possible. It's possible to come and joke and play with us, with other people. Okay.
Well, we are absolutely flattered that you chose to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All
Will be
right.
fun.
Well, thank you to all of our competitors for joining us tonight. And we also want to let our judges introduce themselves. We have 3 judges two again from California and 1 from right here in Chicago.
Okay, well, let's start with the guy in the middle. That's always good. Tell everybody who the hell you are and what you're doing here.
Why is everybody always picking on me? My name is Marty Pulvers, and I have had a hand in almost every aspect of pipe industry and hobby except pipe making. I've been an importer distributor, a brick and mortar retailer, online retailer. What the heck else is there to do? Well, collector, I did that too. And I have an advantage on the other 2 judges in that for the last 15 years, I've also been a certified beer judge. So I have a handle on how to look at things, whether it will help with pipe making or not, we'll find out.
And how do you feel about bribes?
Oh, I didn't know anybody was I didn't know anybody was watching when I don't like to use the word extortion. It's so ugly.
So I take cash. So- No, my name is Ted Billmeyer. I am a pipe carver. I've been carving pipes for about 13 or 14 years under TAB Pipes. And I'm just honored to be selected as a judge. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for joining us.
Hi, my name's Fred Berger, and I'm a longtime pipe smoker since age 16. And I've been collecting pipes in all these years and appreciate good pipe making. And I've been coming to the Chicago show since around 2000. And here I am again. I'm happy to judge.
And he has an awesome pipe collection, of course, full of Jeff Grachik pipes too, I noticed. Oh, we're not supposed to
That's
say
why
that?
I couldn't be a competitor.
No, I got you. I understand. Okay, well, Jeff, I think that probably we've introduced and met the competitors. We've met the judges. We've thanked the audience for coming. And I think it's now time for you to explain the process to them real quickly, what these judges are going to be doing in order to determine a winner.
So each of the judges has a score sheet. There is a maximum number of points awarded for each pipe from each carver of 30. They're in 3 categories. 1 is time, 2 is fit and finish and quality, and 3 is shape. The only portion of this that is left open to their own taste is a maximum of 5 points, and that is an overall at the very end. No points will be deducted for any flaws in the Briar because, of course, it's a natural material and we have 5 blocks for them to work with, and they're working here in not their workshops. So the competitors will begin. I want to explain the way the evening is going to go for us. In a few moments, we'll take 3 numbers and put them in Mr. Steve's hat, and our competitors will choose a number, after which we will reveal the 5 pipe kits, and they will go in order and choose the pipe kit that they would like to work with. There'll be a neutral time period of about 10 minutes where they'll be able to sketch and cut out their basic shape. After they're all done and have laid their pipes down, we will begin the 60-minute countdown, and they can begin working with their sanding stations and their workstations here. They all have identical tools, and they all have they were given the opportunity to bring a few things from home, some hand files and some sandpaper. And after the 60-minute time limit has expired, the pipe makers must put their pipes down if they have not turned them in already, after which They will go to the judges for scoring.
Outstanding. Well, I'm ready to get it going. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hassan, can we see a 10-minute countdown? And Steve, can we see your head?
Yeah, and I told everybody here I have a full head of hair. Now they're going to find out that's not true, but that's
Competitors,
okay.
do we need to choose a number to see who gets to go to first doing this?
I still
Yeah.
think we should leg wrestle.
Okay, leg wrestling.
Leg wrestling. Oh, man.
Yes, go ahead.
Go. There you go.
Good choice.
All right. All right. Are we ready to see the Briar competitors? Okay. Photographers, did you want to capture the Briar? Oh, yeah. Drama. Does anybody have a snare drum? Here we go. And here are
That was good.
the Briar kits. Tommy looks excited.
Yeah.
All right, number
You know
one.
why? You know why?
Number one.
Oh,
Yes, your neutral time has begun. So go in order, choose your block, sketch, and cut. All right, Jared has chosen his block. Somehow I thought that might have been yours.
That'll work.
Mm-hmm. And Tommy,
You get to see it from afar.
we've got pencils here. You want to
Do need
sketch?
that.
It's almost drama.
Now, Jeff, let me ask you a question. They're all three taking a little bit of time examining the blocks. What are they looking for?
Well, each pipe maker has their own way of looking at Briar, and they might have a block orientation, the way that the grain is oriented in the block relative to the drilling that I've prepared for them. And they want to see something that will work with their own style. They're also looking for the quality of the grain in the block, and they're looking for potential flaws in the bird's eye or on the side of the block to give them an idea of what they might find inside.
Interesting. Okay. And what are the judges looking for when they take the Briar over to them?
Bribes.
All right. If y'all didn't hear that, you don't want to. Okay, so they've got they're sketching out the designs.
So on each of the blocks that we have here, the drilling is a little bit different on each of them. And what they're going to, they're looking at the side, they're going to see how they've been drilled so they can imagine what shape they're going to find inside of this block and see what possibilities there are. Once they have a few ideas, they'll sketch on the side of the block something that would make sense. And that'll give them an opportunity to go to the bandsaw where they can cut out the basic shape. When they cut out the basic shape, they'll have to come and lay their block down and do no more work on it. So see, Tommy here's measuring how deep it is to see how much room he has at the bottom, how much he can lift up the bottom of the block of the shape.
Now, another thing I noticed was, you know, obviously the blocks were all different sizes, but none of them chose the biggest one. And Scotty, of course, chose the smaller of the three. Is there any particular advantage to going with the smaller blocks or the larger ones?
It could be a particular style thing, and it could be also they have seen the workstations they're going to be working with, and they have an understanding of what their limitations will be. And so choosing a very large block like that, maybe they might find their bottleneck comes with the time at the shaping wheel. It'll take a lot more time to shape a larger block. It's more material to remove.
Okay, now what is the process after they have 5 minutes and 42 seconds left, by the way. when this is over with, and they've done their sketching, and we begin the competition, is it kind of unanimous what each one of them will do first, or do pipe makers have different starting points?
I want to believe that it's unanimous, but I think that we may be surprised. Who knows? I don't think any of them are going to be working on the mouthpiece first. I can say that. But I do think what we're going to see is they're going to go to the roughest grit that is available to them, and they're going to, the roughest grit allows them to, as quickly as possible, create the shape that they're targeting.
Gotcha. Okay. And
So we're ready to go to the bandsaw. You can go for it. Yes, go for it right now. Jared Coles is the first person to go to the bandsaw. Let's see what he's doing over here.
and and Jeff, there's just one bandsaw. That's why we're doing it that
One
way.
bandsaw.
Correct.
The reason we have this neutral period, folks, is because with this bandsaw, it's a little smaller, a little different than what these pipe makers might have in their professional workshops. And so we want this to be safe, a safe experience for them and for all of us. We don't want to witness someone go to the hospital. So this gives them an opportunity to work without a time limitation. And if we need to extend the neutral period, we're going to be doing that. So we're going to give them all of the time that they need to do this rough prep work, after which the timed portion begins.
Okay, gotcha. Understand. By the way, can everybody out here hear okay? Got it. Okay. We'll sit and watch this exciting portion of the event where they cut the briar, and then we'll get after it again.
One of the challenges, Steve, that these pipe kits present to the pipe makers here is that because they haven't chosen the drilling and the mouthpieces, they're trying to work within the limitations that we've presented them with. And so they might find a mouthpiece shape that isn't something they would normally work with. And so they may choose to reshape it if they want to. They may, or they may redesign something in order to integrate a mouthpiece that would be unique for them.
Interesting. So just because the mouthpiece is there, they can actually reshape it in any shape they want. They don't have to leave the mouthpiece as it is.
Correct.
Gotcha. And do you work, again, a novice question, but do you work the briar around the stem at times, or do you first work the briar and then adjust the stem to make it match what you're doing with the wood?
A little of both. You start with the briar and see where it takes you.
Okay, now tell us, what is Mr. Ascorti doing right now? We know he's cutting it, but what's his goal?
So he's going to cut out the side profile of the pipe, and what he's done a little different than what Jared did is that he cut out the width of his shank as well, which were the parts that he was breaking off there. That saves him time at the shaping wheel.
Gotcha. And again, we're giving them the time necessary for them to do what they're doing at the bending wheel for safety's sake.
Correct.
Well, Jeff, I'm always the curious sort, especially the older I get, curious how I'm still alive. But I want to go to some of these people in the audience and ask them what the heck they're doing here.
Sounds
How
like an
about you,
idea.
young man? I saw you first.
Well, this is my first pipe convention I've ever been to. I started building pipes amateurly only about a year ago. And a friend of mine who's been to many of these brought me here today, and I'm just super stoked to nerd out and watch these these artists work.
Well, we're glad you're here. Now, I know he's really scared I'm coming over to him, but I am. We have El Presidente of SmokingPipes.com here, and its name is Sykes Wilford, and he has done so much, and SmokingPipes.com has done so much for this hobby over the years. But Sykes, what decided to make you come sit down and enjoy yourself for the next hour?
This looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got 3 great pipe makers, and I'm really hoping by about halfway through, Tommy's swearing in Italian. And no, this is gonna be great.
Well, Sykes, thank you for coming. We also have a pipe collector, pipe book author, all around good guy, weightlifter, wrote a book on weightlifting too, done videos. Mr. Rick Newcomb, we're certainly thrilled to have you here with us tonight. What made you decide to come and view this spectacular event?
Well, I'm real excited to see this. You know, when you asked, can you hear? We could hear you well, but I did mumble, well, but I can't see anything. I wish there was a way. Can we like at some point get up and look and see what they're doing?
There is a good question because you have a plan for that.
I do, in fact. So Jeff, the chef up here, he has a live feed of this going to his YouTube channel. And so each of you can pull up your phone and go to YouTube and type in Jeff the Chef, and you will see the live feed for the Battle of the Briar. So you can see a close-up view on your phone while you are sitting here in the audience.
So have you got that, Jeff the Chef? And I think you have to space it and then say pipes or piper or something like that.
Mr. Fallon, I think we have 3 competitors who are ready.
Oh, this is outstanding. Well, I'll let you get them started.
60 minutes? Okay. So, ready to go? Do you have the bell? The bell will indicate that pipe makers can begin their shaping. Do you want to count it down?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
And they're off.
Okay, Jeffrey, at this point, we're starting the competition. I see 2 of them sitting, 1 standing. What is, are they all 3 doing the same thing, or is there a little variance there?
They are all going to the most aggressive wheel that they have. We have a dust collection problem over here. So Jared is toughing out a face full of dust right now. We're going to correct that for him shortly. But I'd like to point out his freshly frosted hair. Go to the wall. I'll give you a little more corn.
Good thing he's got those glasses on.
Well, Jared is really going to town there.
Did you get that?
He might be done by the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy has taken the one very aggressive disc that we have here. This is 36 grit. This can grind concrete. It can grind metal. It can grind your fingers down to the bone.
Well, you know, that's something you bring that up, grind your fingers down to the bone. Do pipe makers get, is this a profession where you can get injured quite easily if you're not careful?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Just about every tool in your shop can injure you, and you either learn through the School of Hard Knocks or you learn by watching other people mess up. So you hope to learn by watching other people.
Have you had any major injuries in your career?
None I care to speak about.
From what I've seen so far,
Now, the audience,
I think Jared was smart wearing glasses. That's helped him a little bit. You gonna say something, Jeff?
now the audience here can't see this. They can if they're on their phones, but these very rough blocks have very quickly started turning into pipe-shaped objects.
Hey, we're going to talk to another couple of people here in the audience. We have Jules Ewert, who has been participating in Jeffrey Grachik's pipe making seminar. Jules, how has that been?
The class was amazing. Really, it was a relaxed feel, so you didn't feel like you were rushed. And we had a really great time. In addition to the wonderful instructors that were there the whole time, you would have people who came in and gave a little presentation or a little talk. But everybody there was dedicated to all of us learning as much as possible. So it was wonderful.
And you were in the kind of advanced class because you were here last year. Now you've worked with all these tools before. Is it not as easy as it looks?
That is correct. It definitely poses challenges all the way around and all throughout the process, but it is rewarding and quite fun.
Great. Well, we hope you enjoy the competition tonight. Thank you, Jules. All right. We see another young couple over here we're going to talk to while Jeffrey watches over it. How you folks doing?
We come here for supporting a friend, Tommy.
Supporting a friends. And Tommy is, we watched him before the competition began. Does he ever stop? I mean, he was moving, he's constant motion, he's going all over the place.
But it was excited for the competition, I think, yeah.
He's been exciting and fun, and he speaks better Italian than I do. So, and you, sir? Well, I knew that. Remember, I speak Italian, right? I could tell by the way you were talking. So I kicked in my Italian.
Well, Briar. Briar. From Italy, yes.
To carvers all over the world, by the way.
Yeah.
How long has your business been going on?
My father started this to make Briar 13 years old.
We appreciate what all of you are doing for the pipe community and also for taking the time to come over here and be a part of this. I know Tommy appreciates it too. Thank you. Okay, Jeff, what's happening up there on the firing line?
My goodness, Steve, you would be surprised to see how quickly these blocks are turning into pipes. I think most people who are familiar with pipes, buy them at stores, who own them, or even have even made pipes, don't really understand fully just how talented each one of these makers is. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to bring them up here, to show you all what they can do in 1 hour. In just 1 hour. Imagine what they could do in their own workshops with more than an hour.
I know everybody's different, Jeffrey, but approximately from start to finish, an average sized smooth pipe, not sandblast, how long does it take to make one?
That's a really good question, and it does vary depending on the pipe maker. In some situations, a pipe maker whose shop is equipped for it and who has standard shapes that they're working with, they can make a smooth pipe in a few hours. In other cases, a pipe maker with a similarly equipped shop, but who has different shapes that they are working with, ones that have much more maybe complicated designs, whose finishes take much longer to apply, can take 12 to 20 hours, sometimes weeks on a single pipe.
Wow. Well, so in your estimation, an honest assessment of what we're seeing tonight is if they can come up with a completed pipe in 1 hour, that's pretty incredible.
It is indeed, and I think that is one of the reasons this is such a challenge for each of these makers. They, in their own workshops, would probably struggle to make a pipe in this amount of time, and in front of a live audience with tools that they're unfamiliar with, we'll see what they can do.
Well, it's been very interesting so far. I was wondering after I took a look at Jared and his hair, his head, and his shirt, is there something that the judges have to consider regarding who wound up being the dirtiest pipe maker after this competition is over? I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll find out.
Thank you. You all know where to watch the video? You found it? Yeah. Yeah. Or one Jeff. One So with the first 9 minutes of the competition gone, Steve, why don't you come up here with me and take a look at what these pipe makers have done so far?
Oh my gosh. The Briar they brought up here 10 minutes ago, they all look like pipes. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. That's awesome, Scotty.
One of the more surprising things to people who are not familiar with pipe makers workshops is just how quickly this first part goes, and just how slowly
They're
the
not
next
playing
parts
games
go.
up here, man. They're going to town. That's incredible. Wow. Isn't it hard to believe, folks? 10 minutes ago, Scotty came up here with a block of briar, and now she's showing us a pipe. That's unbelievable.
Scotty is the first step away from the sanding wheels and move over to her workstation. She's had to modify the tools that we brought for her already for her pipe. That's another thing that pipe makers do a whole lot of is there are no tools made specifically for pipe makers. We have to make our own. And when we do find some tools, sometimes we have to fix them.
Can't go to Amazon.com and get them, huh?
Not a thing sold there for us.
Now explain for us, Jeffrey. We saw, you mentioned a moment ago, here comes Scotty. She's first up at the second table. What is she doing exactly?
So what Scotty's doing is she's got this dowel peg, and she's putting it in the bowl of her pipe so she can grip it in her vise there. And that gives her a really stable platform to do what we're seeing now, the filing. The filing of what she's doing is she's defining the transition from the bowl to the shank. The first thing she'll do is her filing that does a lot more of the rough work that she didn't complete on the sanding wheel, and then she'll move that from that point to rough sandpaper through finer sandpapers.
And I've heard, especially after when you see beautiful pipes that you people make, the shaping of how the bowl just flows into the shank is sometimes it's just all I can't figure out how you guys did it. So what she's doing now is basically what you just said. She's getting that shape so that it looks like as much as possible the bowl is just flowing right into the shank.
Yes, you want to define, you want to do two things at once. You want to define the shape of the bowl, but also let it flow smoothly into the rest of the composition. And that can be a real challenge, especially for newer pipe makers. We have some of the pipe makers who were in our 2-day-long pipe making seminar here in the audience today, and they can really appreciate just how challenging what they're witnessing right now is.
Yeah, you were up there a moment ago, but I talked with Jules Ewert, and she talked about how great that pipe making seminar was. Of course, this is her second time around, and she gave kudos to you and all the other pipe makers for helping them progress as amateur to maybe one day professional pipe makers. So that was nice.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Another question, because Scotty is up here first, does that mean she is in the lead, as they say, or is that just the way it happened?
I'd like to say so, and it might seem that that's the case, but we don't know how each of these other pipe makers works. So each of them has their own process, and they have their own idea of what the shape is that they are making. And so she's now back at the wheel. So what we saw was part of her process, or she's had to pivot because of something she found inside of the wood.
Gotcha. Now, they've been at it for close to 15 minutes now. I was shocked, but, I'm an amateur. when you saw how far along those pipes were, was that surprising to you, or did you expect them to be off to a quick start like that?
I'm not a bit surprised that they got that far, but I'm glad that you were.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure everybody in here was. Well, that's great. That's great to know. And Jeff, also, if you would, tell the folks the process of after the competition is over, first, second, and third place is declared. What happens to these pipes?
That's a really good question, Steve. So all of the proceeds from today's event, both the ticket sales as well as the pipes themselves, they're going to go in the silent auction tomorrow. The pipes are going to go in the silent auction where anybody here at the show can bid on them. And all the proceeds from that and the tickets will go to help support the Chicago show so we can have another one next year and in years to come.
That's great. So all three of these pipes, folks, the finished product. Oh, that reminds me. At the end of 1 hour, they may not be completely completed, but you're going to give them all time to do that before the auction.
Each of them will have an opportunity to spend up to another hour, which I don't think will be necessary, to get the pipes to do some finishing touches that might make them more presentable, more acceptable to a public who might pay for them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can let one row at a time. Forward through. Yep. Okay. If the competitors start moving to the table. Steve, at this time, Hassan is going to be coming through and inviting some audience members to come up and witness in person the pipe makers working. So he will come to your row and invite you forward to see this. Tommy Escorti has now moved from a rougher grit and he's going to a fine grit.
Hey, Steve, head on.
He's getting rid of some of those deeper scratches and getting the pipe ready to do some handwork afterwards. Jared Coles is feeling so confident up here, folks. He's having a conversation. He's got a whole bunch of extra time.
Yeah, but he's talking to a guy that buys his pipes by the barrel. I mean, he's pretty smart to do that.
Fair point, Steve.
I know. He's got a handicap.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good job there, George. If you decide you want to make pipes, you can be broadcast. But don't take my okay.
Well, and these aren't the right tools. Not if they have the right tools. Yeah.
You sure can. I'm sure that you don't know anything about pipes.
That's so hard to say. Yeah, yeah. I can make a pipe, a 200 pipe. I think I average 2.5 a week. Okay. So that's the easiest way. Yeah. And then we're also building in overhead, like email time and photography.
Sean, you just do everything.
All of those things, that's right.
You're a tour guide too. Yeah, I am. I'm doing out of your way.
Please put a new. Yeah, no one will hire me.
So Jules, you were in our class today.
Yes, sir.
These pipe makers are 19 minutes in.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm very impressed. And, it took us probably 2 days to get to the point that they're at now.
It's pretty astonishing, isn't it?
It's amazing. I'm blown away. This has been such a cool idea.
Thank you.
I know, right? Even Tommy was like, I feel like one of them could lift all of us.
While we're watching all the activity, I want to find out what the judges are thinking at this point. We haven't talked to the judges yet. What about it, Dr. Berger? What are your thoughts here after the first 18 minutes?
I'm impressed with all three of them, and it's interesting how they attack it from different ways and a different order of how they're sanding, and it's fun to watch.
And it's also interesting, although I know that Marty Pulvers has many times watched pipe makers make pipes, but have you ever watched pipe makers make pipes this quickly?
Yes, once with at least 3 times with Tom Eltang, Raynor Barbie, and Carlo Ura. They're phenomenal. And then Phil Vegan. Yes, a number of times this quickly. But their mind muscle memory is phenomenal. It's hard to believe. And while we all said prior to this that we'd love to see them all do well, on the other hand, I'm getting worried because we have to judge this. And these all look like they're coming out to be really fine pipes. And the difference might be minimal if there's any difference at all in terms of quality, fit, finish, construction, shape, ingenuity. We're in a slightly tough position as people sitting on our buttocks here.
Yeah, but you're getting paid the big bucks, and that's why you're there working. Isn't that right?
Right, absolutely. No, and like I said, I'm impressed with how quickly they're getting these things done. I mean,
Second off the sanding wheel,
it's really
it's
impressive.
Tommy Ascorti.
Well, thank you guys very much.
I'd like to make a comment, Steve, and I hate to flatter you, but you're doing a phenomenal job. I'm very conscious of this, of keeping the conversation going, asking interesting questions, and that's not easy. I was thinking, could I do that? The answer is no.
Well, you can answer questions pretty doggone well.
You should be in radio.
I'll think about that.
Steve, I want you to come over here and look at this. Look at Scotty flying on the sanding of that shank.
Wow.
And Tommy's the second off the wheel. Jared's going a whole lot further.
It's really interesting to me as an amateur watching the way they develop their pipes so differently. And the speed with which they do what they do. It's just it's
Steve, it's a good thing that Tommy Ascorti works out because he's getting himself a workout tonight.
Well, he sure is. But he's putting it to that wood, I'm telling you. And watching the way Scotty's moving that. What is that thing she's using again? What's that called?
Folks,
Up there getting a couple of people are about ready to get their fingers cut off. So Jeff had to run over there real quick, take care of that. But Scotty was using some kind of tool that he'll tell us about. But I mean, she goes so fast I can hardly see her. Some kind of sandpaper.
So I think from now we need to be on the other side.
And again, a reminder that some of these individuals, maybe all three of them, were allowed a certain amount of their own tools to bring to the competition, things that are specific to what they need to make pipes the way they do. It's not that one pipe maker got an advantage over the other on the tools. It's just whatever the pipe maker considered the tools he wanted to bring, he or she was allowed to do so. So that's why some of them are using tools that were not provided here.
If you're regretting joining, this is going to be hard. So we need to make sure they're not going behind. So, okay. What do you think?
Hey, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
I think
Yes,
while
sir.
they're doing that, I think it'd be nice to
take a seat. I think
take a seat for you. I did that long ago. Of course, I'm 40 years younger than you, but we have a celebrity here in the audience with us who's got a podcast that's going to be showing all of this. I think you need to introduce him and explain what all's going on. Adam.
Well, he's filming right now, but we're going to interrupt him anyway. Adam, can you talk while you are filming?
Hello. How is everyone doing?
Doing great.
So Adam has a podcast called.
Okay. So it's called Get Piped. So we just get it right out in the blue. Where we wanted to beat it before the innuendo came. But our podcast is essentially a take on the more philosophical, the more emotional aspect of pipe smoking. So we will write short stories, we will write pipe smoking poems, and we'll have conversations that based in the idea of pipe smoking rather than necessarily information based. We think of Pipes Mag, we think of all those folks. Yeah, Country Squire Radio, that was now the late Country Squire Radio. Great places for information. Ours was more of an entertainment first, and we're finding our way.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds great. And what are you doing here today?
So simultaneously, I tried to do a YouTube kind of production thing, and it's all for fun. But it's essentially a more professional approach to capturing cinematic videography. And so for today, we're doing the Battle of the Briar documentary. This won't be available for probably 6 to 8 months. It's gonna be a long time coming, but we're pretty excited to get all. I'm just looking at Tommy right now, just getting after it, and I'm loving it. So.
And look at the smile on Tommy's face. What a smile, folks. What a smile. Is there a score for that?
Yeah. That's why I don't judge. That's why I don't judge.
Thank you, Adam. And everybody can check out Adam's YouTube channel at
Get Piped.
Get Piped.
And what's impressive about him, he's a good speaker too. He can not only shoot video, but he can talk well and said only a couple of times. Yeah.
Well, I got to say, Steve, I'm looking at Scotty's pipe, and I think she might be first across the line.
Think so, huh? Whew.
It's going to be close.
Don't put any pressure on her now.
On the other hand, I'm looking at Jared, and he's wearing the other half of his pipe at this point. And he wears it so well.
Yes, he's wearing it well.
Do we have a brush to wipe off our friend over here?
I think he looks...
Or a tissue?
I think he looks cute.
He always looks cute.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that is the third of our pipe makers off the wheels. And
That's a typical mother telling a child to clean up.
So I'm looking at the timer and we are 28 and a half minutes into this competition. The dust collectors are off and the pipe makers are all working by hand at this point. So that should give our viewers at home, our viewers here in the crowd, an idea of this is a little unusual. They're not working this quickly in their own workshops. But in a competition setting, I have to say I'm very impressed. I make pipes for a living and I'm really impressed with every one of them right now.
Well, I guarantee I'm impressed, and so is everybody that we've interviewed so far. It's
Tommy's not even looking at his work while he's sanding. He's looking at everybody else.
well, he heard somebody say TV, and he knows he looks like a movie star, so he's smiling and looking good, hoping that somebody out there will discover him.
If he were at home now, he would already have had 2 espresso breaks.
Yeah.
I guarantee, right?
And cigarettes.
Yeah.
At least roll your own. Better than that.
I mean, espresso would be really good. And I think maybe an idea for next year is we can let smokingpipes.com bring their espresso machine up here and share espresso with all the competitors. Have I voluntold you to do this for next year?
No pressure, Sykes. No pressure.
For next year.
Okay.
All right.
He even has
We've got coffee
witnesses.
for next year sponsored by smokingpipes.com. Just give you all a sound of pipe making here. This is what we hear every day, most of the day. So you want to be hearing that, you're saying? Yeah.
Make you feel at home.
Right. So when the competitors are done this evening and after they've been turned in and judged, we will be engraving on all of the pipes the Battle of the Briar, the name of the pipe maker, and the place that they finished as judged by our 3 judges here. We'll be able to see all those places down in the convention hall tomorrow for the show. And I believe, and this can be confirmed by the show committee, someone with the show committee, Alan, that there will also be a People's Choice Award for people walking around the show who would like to see these pipes, correct?
I have a question.
Yes, Marty. Marty has a question.
Since we're judging by numbers, it's not at all inconceivable that more than one will come out with the same score. Conceivably, all 3. What if we have multiple number 1s? I would love to see everybody here be number 1 because I don't want to mark anybody here down, although, of course, I'll try to do my job. But what do you think of what happened?
That's a really good question, Marty. It could be arm wrestling. It could be leg wrestling. We also do have 2 additional blocks, so if we've got time.
Or maybe you're another judge for next
Maybe I'm
year.
not.
Maybe another judge for next year then.
You know, I've known Marty for many, many years, and I'll tell you this right now, folks, he can suck up with the best of them. And he's sucking up with these pipe makers right now. There's no way they're going to end up in a tie. We've got.
Well, he knows that he's judging them, not them him, right?
Yeah, well, he hopes. Otherwise, he'll be in big trouble. But we do have a quarter, and it's best 2 out of 3. And that's in the rules. You should have read them, Marty.
I want to clarify something. I am not judging them. I am judging their pipe.
There we go. There you go. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good too. I like. Oh,
Marty.
Yes, I do.
Marty does bring up a good point, though. So what if there is a tie? Well, I can say this: we do have one that point on the scorecard that should work toward preventing that, and that is the time portion. Because the first person across the finish line scores 5 points, the second person 4 points, and the third person 3 points. Now, if someone doesn't make it across the finish line with a finished pipe, that person gets 1 point. So that should help to some degree, but of course it depends on the other categories. Sandblaster? How are your teeth? Yeah. We might have a rasp that we could get for you.
I don't have
I thought about making them for you, maybe for next year.
I've never rusticated a pipe.
Today could be the day.
I have a bunch of chisels if you like.
They don't need cuts.
It depends on the pipe. It's okay.
Well, you know, you're talking, Jeffrey, about how all these pipe makers do things differently. What another thing that kind of interested me was the fact that, you know, you had two of them coming over to this table and start the sanding while Jared stayed back there a long, long time. And now he's come up there and I'm looking at all three pipes and I can't tell who's beating who.
Well, that is what I was getting at earlier, because each pipe maker has their own process. Some pipe makers are able to do a lot more work on the wheel, on the sanding wheel, than others. Some of these pipe makers might be executing a shape that allows working on the wheel longer than another shape. And so Jared may well have been there not because he is slower, but because he was doing more work on the wheel and making less work for himself here by hand.
Gotcha.
That's the hope, he says.
Well, he's psyching him out. He's shaking his nodding his head like, oh yeah, that's it.
I'd
25
like-
minutes to go.
And we can see how each of the pipe makers holds the pipe differently. For those pipe makers and aspiring pipe makers here in our audience today, you can see how they're bracing the pipes differently, how Scotty's holding the sandpaper and using the inside of the bowl as a reference as she goes around to make the pipe round, to get the facets off of it. Yes, sir.
Better stick that microphone up so we can all hear what he's saying.
Another thought, as I said, from a born cynic, is that what might have been interesting, other than the time element, is blind judging.
Or blind pipe makers.
No, but just getting the pipes and not knowing who made what. I don't think that's going to be a big influence either. No, Fred doesn't, and I don't either. But it's a thought.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good thought. Something we'll have to see how the scores turn out. If I know who's Marty's favorite pipe maker is, and if I see their scores from his score sheet. We do. One of the reasons that these judges were chosen, Steve, is we've known these fellas for quite a while, and not only for their experience, but also for their objective opinions, and that each of them, we know that they are going to be looking at these pipes and they're going to be trying to judge them, and it's going to be hard, very, very hard to judge these. And we tried to give them some very clear things to look at in order to judge these pipes, because it will not be easy.
You went over it earlier. One of the things that obviously speed, as you said, is not only going to count, but it's also going to give one person several points advantage over another. But the other thing that if I were a judge, and I'm glad I'm not, never will be, just for the record, but if I were a judge, I would find it extremely difficult when it comes to look at all of the, because, you know, a pipe is more than just a piece of wood and a piece of plastic, but to see how the buttons were done, how the slots were done. I mean, we're talking about a lot of areas of the pipe where these judges of ours are very professional and have examined over the years many of every aspect of all pipes. So I think they're going to do a great job for us.
That's another aspect, getting into this. It's something I haven't thought of in a while, but I used to think of it a lot. And that is, each pipe maker puts a big portion of themselves into the pipe. The pipe is a representative in some way of that pipe maker's, I don't know what to call it, personality, their genius, everything. What were you gonna, passion, certainly. But if you're observant enough, if you're insightful enough, you might actually be able to determine who made the pipe by knowing the pipe maker and then looking at the pipe. And in some instances, I feel I can do that with some pipe makers that I've known for many years and their works.
That's very, very true. And we use the saying, it's a shape that you can recognize from across the room, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so each of these pipe makers and many, many others has a signature that has helped set their work apart from others.
The term I would use, and I definitely used what you said. You can and certainly the old standards, classics. You can see a Sheraton from across the room. But pipe makers, and it can take years to develop this, want to, I believe, make pipes that is in they've reached their voice. They are able to express themselves. And it may start, and I imagine it always starts with copying somebody they admire. And at some point they realize, no, that's a dead end for me because I'm not Jeff Grasick. I'm not Reiner Barbie. I'm not Lars Everson. So who am I when I express my creativity in a pipe? And that's when they hit they strive to hit their expressive voice. And when they do, you can see whose pipe it is, as you said, from across the room. That's a beautiful place to be.
I agree, Marty. I agree. And one of the things I can say from my experience as a pipe maker to speak to that is that you can ask a pipe maker to make, you can show a pipe maker a Lars Everson, you can show a pipe maker a Sheraton and ask them to make you their version of it. You could ask them to try to copy it. But most pipe makers, you're not going to get an exact copy of it. First of all, the Briar is different. No matter how carefully they choose it, the Briar is different. Second of all, their hands. Each of those pipe makers' hands and the way they perceive the Briar is different. It is coming through the filter of that human who is shaping it. And so you will get their interpretation of a shape.
And many times, as you know, I imported pipes, distributed. I certainly bought pipes from many of the greats over the years from my store and my business. And often the pipe maker would say, well, Marty, what would you like me to make? Would you like some billiards? You like some bends? What would that? And my answer has always been, no, I want the best of what you want to make because of what you just said. Yeah.
It can be liberating as a pipe maker to have someone who wants you to send them 5 pipes versus someone who says, I would like 2 billiards, 3 apples, and a blowfish. Well, Stephen, we are under 20 minutes.
I know it. I'm sitting there wondering when the.
Actually, I shouldn't say Stephen. I should say competitors. We are under 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just watching. I'm having a good time.
It's captivating.
Right.
I'll say that Tommy is here standing on the mouthpiece. That means, the other pipe makers know what that means. That means Tommy is very close to walking over to that buffing wheel and starting to polish.
Everybody feeling a little tension rise? Yeah, I am.
The competitors are.
I bet they are.
And Steve, with the time getting to this point, should we go through and interview each of these competitors? What do you think? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. We have a glutton for punishment here.
Jeffrey, you just do whatever you want with them.
I would say Scotty is looking pretty confident over here too. I was maybe just viewing it from across the room and I didn't see just how far along she was. Look at her. She knows what's going on. Is it an appropriate movie?
It's Talladega Nights.
Maybe.
Jeffrey might remind Scotty that we are on television.
My grandma might see it, but I think she might see it.
And your children. They've heard it before.
Anybody who's met my
If she wanted to, and thank goodness she doesn't, she could melt a microphone.
Oh, and Jared is now sanding his mouthpiece. I mean, we're neck and neck here, Steve. We are neck and neck. Each of the pipe makers is about at the
That's
same
unbelievable.
stage.
That's unbelievable.
And should we tell them it's 2 minutes remaining or, it's 16 and a half minutes remaining? Oh, Tommy has stepped away from the table. No, they started with a raw. The other ones are there, raw blocks.
Okay, Jeff, you've got some explaining to do for us amateurs. He goes over and what's he doing now?
We need to make sure Tommy does not get covered in what he's working with here. So Tommy, we have 4 buffing wheels here. The first one that Tommy's working with is our roughest grit. This is really, really good for working on the mouthpieces of pipes, which is what he is doing. It'll bring the mouthpiece to a really high polish. The next one over to his right is a white colored polishing compound, and that is also good for taking the shine that he puts on with this one and making it even finer, taking out those very, very fine little scratches. He may also, and we'll have to see what he's going to do with it, he may also use this fine polish to polish the pipe itself, to polish the briar. And then closer to you, Steve, over there, we have our waxing wheel and we have a clean wheel. And each of the pipe makers will work their way from where Tommy is to then this wheel, and then stepping over there to the wax.
Very near the end, huh? And explain this too. This big old chunk of wax. What is this?
That is carnauba wax. Why don't you take a bite out of that? It's
No,
like a
thank
cookie.
you.
It's
No,
like a
thank
cookie.
you. I don't trust you.
Every pipe maker just about every pipe maker uses this wax here. Carnauba wax is the wax that you put on your car. It is the wax that is on the candy that you get from the store. It is the wax that is on the apples that makes them nice and shiny. It is food safe. And the wax creates a very shiny surface on the pipe, makes it appealing to hold, appealing to look at. And the wax the wheel will be turned on and the wax will be pressed against the wheel. It'll cause the wax to melt slightly and adhere to the wheel itself, and then it can be transferred to the pipe. Now,
That's interesting.
the really, really difficult thing for these pipe makers is going to be getting this wax on evenly, because these are not their tools, these are our tools, and they're going to operate differently. And this is a very difficult part of the process to use to complete with someone else's materials. One of our judges, Ted, who is an experienced pipe maker, has something to say about the wax, and I want to hear what he has to say.
No, with carnauba wax, that's the final buffing of the pipe, and that's when you start getting into the fine, and you can see the fine scratches that you may have not seen before. That's when they really pop, and that's when you have to go back and sand and get that finish off and start again.
So what Ted is getting at here is that we might see some of these pipe makers step to where Tommy is and then step back to their workstation because they will discover some scratches that they could not see before. And so we might see some walking back and forth. Now, this is our bottleneck in the process because each pipe maker does not have his own buffing station. They are sharing one. And so for Tommy to give up his spot here would open it for someone else, and it could create a problem for him going forward. So he hopefully was thinking about that as he was working over at his station.
This is something new for them too, because at their own shops, they don't have to worry about somebody else coming over and taking their place.
If it's your shop, there's no one standing in front of you.
There you go.
Tommy has stepped away from the polishing wheel, and he's now going over to the heat gun. The heat gun is used it's very hot. It's the kind of heat gun that can strip paint. He's going to turn this on. He's going to heat up the mouthpiece, and then he will bend the mouthpiece. Now, bending these mouthpieces, they're made of acrylic. It's plastic. One of the challenges, and each of these pipe makers is familiar with this, is that acrylic is very, very hard until it hits a certain temperature, and it has a very, very narrow bandwidth of acceptable temperatures to bend. It goes from hard to bendable to melted. And when it melts, it stinks and they will be sad.
No going back, huh? Uh, whew.
Tommy's pipe is polished, folks. Tommy's pipe is polished with 11 minutes remaining.
Air? Air? Hot air? No, for later. Air and compressor, you know.
Jeff, was there any particular reason why we went with acrylic rather than vulcanite?
A reason that we worked with acrylic here at the competition?
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's a good question. So acrylic and pipe makers use generally two materials for mouthpieces, broadly. Vulcanite, which is vulcanized rubber, or it's also known as ebonite, and what we're using here today, which is acrylic. Acrylic has some significant advantages in that it polishes very easily and very, very well to a very high shine, and it will stay that color, and it will stay the color and the shine will remain forever. But many people don't like the way that acrylic feels between your teeth. It's very hard and it feels brittle. The brittleness is also makes it fragile. If you, as the owner, have it and you drop the pipe or something, some accident happens, it can shatter. So, or break. So we want to let our competitors and our audience know that we have passed the 10-minute point. There are 10 minutes remaining, competitors, 10 minutes remaining. And so to answer the vulcanite question, vulcanite does discolor over time, and it can be polished back to a shine. And and vulcanite is also much, much more difficult to work with. It takes a lot more care, a lot more sanding in order to make it as shiny as you can get from acrylic. But it can be cut thinner to make it more comfortable between your teeth. And for many people, they find vulcanite to be more comfortable because it has just a little bit of give to it. It doesn't feel brittle between your teeth. It's also a little more resilient in the case of being dropped because it has a natural springiness to it. A long answer to a simple question.
Well, no, yeah, I was just curious about that.
Tommy has now stepped over to the fine polishing wheel. I gotta say, folks, his pipe is looking very good. Very, very good. Eight and a half minutes remaining. I'm feeling a little anxious now. So, audience, we saw all of these pipe makers had very nice looking pipes, it seemed, at 16 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're getting down to the wire here.
I know it.
Jared has taken a whole lot of care on the rim of his pipe. It's looking really, really good. He's going to get it across the finish line. We believe in him. We believe in Scotty.
He didn't say in what order we was going to go across the line, did he? He did?
Well, he's about to find out.
Oh, wow. A bold statement.
Jared Coles has stepped up to the polishing wheel. We're about to see a mouthpiece get real shiny, folks. Boy, Tommy sure seems confident here. Look at him encouraging his competitor. Tommy's now waxing his pipe. He's putting a really very, very high shine on this. Woo! You know, Steve, we gave options to these pipe makers to put stain on these pipes, but I think we may have gotten too good of Briar because they don't need. It looks so nice. They don't need stain. And also, what did Tommy say?
Not enough time for the color.
Not enough time for the color.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. I love natural finish pipes that have been waxed. That'll color up nicely
Natural
later.
finish pipes.
I can say one thing. In my case, the idea of the shape was completely different, but I find three big spots and on the top, so I have to change my idea and something remain here. But
Well, we're going to interview each of these competitors after the event, after you turn it in, so you can tell us about your
Yeah.
journey
Yeah.
over the last hour. And what time?
Or in their own workshops, the vast majority of their day
Is problem solving. You go into that workshop with an idea, and that idea rarely comes to fruition. More often than not, we find ourselves presented with problems as we're working that you cannot or did not anticipate, and you have to pivot. You have to make a decision. You have to change, and you have to be flexible. And that's part of the challenge to each of these pipe makers. They went to that bandsaw with an idea in mind, and as Tommy said, it's a very different result than what he intended.
That's very interesting. So I've never heard that before. Problem solving is one of the big things you have to do if you're a pipe maker.
Most of pipe making is problem solving.
Wow.
Are we done, Tommy? The first to cross the line, folks, with 5 minutes and 2 seconds remaining is Tommy Ascorti. The first 5 points awarded is Tommy Ascorti. Let's take a look at this, folks. In 55 minutes, from start to finish. Tommy Ascorti, folks. You all have seen pipes. 55 minutes? It's better than not bad. Yeah. So let me ask you, being new to the show and new to this event, 55 minutes, what do you think?
I think that's pretty amazing. I wish I could get that out of 55 days.
So these gentlemen here were in our pipe making class over the last couple days, and what do you think?
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's amazing that something like that can be turned out in 55 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. With 3 minutes remaining, folks, 3 minutes remaining, Jared Coles is bending his mouthpiece. We are really getting close here, folks. 2 minutes, 45 seconds. White's on the end. White was where the wax was. Oh, yeah, it was wrong. Okay. And Scotty has now stepped up to the buffing wheel. Folks, I think with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left, I think these pipe makers are going to do it. I think they're going to get there. I'm rooting for them. They might have to throw it from across the room to land on the table, but it's going to get in there.
One minute, 30 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. No, thank you. Sorry. So, I was 30 all day.
Was very, very good. And these two guys are.
Uh-huh.
1 minute and 10 seconds.
1 minute and 10 seconds. It's going to be tight, folks. Jared Coles, with 1 minute remaining, has stepped away from the almost stepped away from the white wheel, and there he returned. He's going over to the wax, folks. Scotty has 50 seconds remaining. 50 seconds. With 30 seconds remaining, these pipe makers are rushing to finish these pipes. I think they're going to get there, but we will see. Scotty has moved over to the white. Jared is now polishing the wax off of his pipe. These two are flying, absolutely flying. Jared walks slowly to the table. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pipe makers. Wow. Wow. They all did it. Scotty, are you done?
I'm gonna at least clean the white.
It's done. She got it done. She stepped away from the polishing wheel before time. We have 3 pipe makers who finished in under an hour, very nearly 59 minutes and 59 seconds.
And now we eat.
And drink. All right. So
They timed it too. I mean, they were exceptional in their timing. Really fun, guys.
So now the pipes are going to go to our judges, and Steve and I are going to, actually, Steve, I'm going to invite you to go over and have a word with our pipe makers. Excuse the dust.
Okay, so
this is Jared.
I don't know.
This is
doesn't matter.
Scott.
Yeah.
Well, it does
Oh, it does
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
It does matter.
This is tough.
Was no easy. I have to say no easy. And I didn't find a way to work with these tools. I don't know if the other people is the other pipe maker, the other pipe maker. Okay, maybe for you it's easier because, but I work in a completely different way. So for me it was really hard. And as I told before, sorry everybody for my English and for Italy, so it's not so perfect.
I'm from Texas, and you speak better than I do.
Okay, thank you. And what I didn't think before today is the time because 1 hour looks a long time, but it's no.
We need to switch microphones.
Okay, no problem. It's a short time. It's a short time, and in at the middle of the competition, I decide to go a little bit faster and prefer to finish before the other competitors because also the wheels are only one, and you know. But congratulations to the other pipe makers because you are very, very, very good. My family ran this company for 55 years, and see something like that from you is wonderful. And it's hard to find in Italy people that work like you. And maybe if you want to live in Italy, I'm looking for somebody work with me. So the door of the company are open. And thanks to you, everybody. I do my best for the time. I didn't do the best for the shape, and also the light. Uh, Also, the light is not so good for working, but everything was very very fun. Thank to Jeff and to all the people here. It was very good, and maybe see you next year. I don't know. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, you're you could possibly be the defending champion. We'll see, but thank you very much. Okay, Jared, where are you? There you are. Okay, Jared, tell us about your experience with the 1 hour dash.
Heart pounding, man. That went quick. That went quick. Um,
You're saying the 1 hour,
The 1
like
hour
you went through, wasn't like what we went through. It was a
no,
quicker
actually,
hour.
yeah. It was a struggle to do all the things that I'm used to doing, even though this setup is similar to mine. Just even small differences make it difficult to adjust. But it worked out. We got a pipe out of it. And once I got into the flow, all my nerves calmed down a little bit, and this is what I do, muscle memory. So
Well, what were you? What was getting me is what were you thinking? Both. I'm going to ask Scotty the same thing. I mean, there's the timer going down, 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 and you're within seconds of going over that hour time limit.
well, Tommy had finished, and so I just wanted it to be shiny. I like shiny things. I like shiny pipes.
Well, you did great, Jared. Thank you so much. All right, Jared Coles, Scotty Pearsall, and talk about somebody who took it to the very last second. Way to go!
Why waste them? They're there to be used, right?
You used them.
That's right.
Well, tell us about your process and what you were thinking during the hour.
I really thought the guys had an advantage over me because I don't do any like freehand shaping at all. 99% of the pipes I make, everything's on the lathe. So I'm just knocking the bottom of the bowl off on the shaping disc. So for me to have to start like they do and just start with a raw block, I gave it a lot of thought over the last couple of weeks. I kind of had a plan of attack. It was going to be a billiard, whether it was bent or straight, and it's not a billiard, but it's a pipe and it's shiny, so it'll work.
Well, Scotty, we sure appreciate it very much, and I'm glad you had a good time. We had a great time watching you, and good luck on the judging.
Thanks.
All right, folks.
For the people here in the audience today, after the judges have had their time with these pipes, we're going to put the pipes on the table here and allow each of you to come up and take a look at just what they were able to accomplish in that hour that you saw. Judges, how are we doing on our time? Are we getting close? Closer, they're closer. So let's go. How about we go to our audience? Do you want to go to some audience members and ask them what they think?
Thought about the competition here. All right. So what'd you think about what you observed over the last hour?
It was excellent. And I wanted to say anybody who works with wood but never has done it freehand, give it a shot. It's quite challenging.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna. That looked way too challenging. How about you, sir?
Just the style of the first one done there was just amazing. Just leaving the rough briar sticking out of the top. I mean that was must have been a quick decision to make that, but that's very unique, and that's going to be the top one in my eye.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you very much. Who else have we not talked to? Steve, how about you? What do you? This is Steve Norris, Vermont. I always want to say Vermont Maple, but Vermont Freehand. What do you think, Steve? You make pipes yourself.
I think this was a really fun event. I know most of these carvers personally, anyways, and getting to see them race and rush through this was a lot of fun. So now I can go bust their chops after this. But they all did a wonderfully good job.
Well, thank you, Steve. And Sykes, you know what I said up there without the microphone in front of me was, you're having a hard time if you're wanting Sykes to get your pipes and take them and sell them on smokingpipes.com. If he thinks it's this easy to make pipes in an hour, he may go down on his prices. That was amazing, wasn't it?
That was very impressive.
And what impressed you most? Were you like me? I was shocked when I saw that they seemed so far and distant from getting it done to closing at the wire. What were your thoughts?
I really just the buffing process at the end went faster than I expected. The sanding process went faster than I expected. The shaping took about as long as I expected. The finishing, they finished out those pipes quickly though.
It was amazing. Thanks, Sykes. Jeffrey, you got something for us?
I do indeed. I want to hand the microphone here over to the president of the Chicagoland Pipe Collectors Club, Mr. Tim Garrity.
Hey, no, just Tim. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Our artists, Jared, Scotty, Tommaso, thank you very much. Jeff, Alan, this is the brainchild that's been going on for quite a while now. It took time to put it together. I thank everybody for coming out. This is an awesome opportunity to grow our culture. All right. I just love seeing the pipe craftsmanship that was going on here today. This has been a great opportunity, and I thank you all. This is just, it really just, I'm touched, and I thank you.
Wait a second.
Oh, whoa.
Jeff and I were here for several days. There they are. We watched your people work their butts off, putting all these things together, getting all the equipment in here, what you did on the front end and now on the back end. It's just, I'm telling you what, the Greater Chicago Pipe Club, and correct, yeah, you got all your guys here. They all deserve a whopper-sized hand. Earlier tonight, all these young guys with the big muscles running around, moving all that stuff. I was sitting over there eating a piece of pizza, and Jeff says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm 70." And so anyhow, I got out of it. But again, thank you, Tim. Great job.
Thank you. Also, Jamie's not here. Jamie Connolly, another key player. It's awesome to see the craft taking place. I'm humbled that y'all just put your heart into it. I thank you.
And Tim, I want to thank you and everybody here at the Chicago Club, at the Chicago Show Committee. Last year, I talked to Tim about this idea, and if it weren't for Tim and Alan, this would not have happened. And these guys took an idea, just a little germ of an idea, and they said, run with it. And if it hadn't been for their encouragement, for all of their support throughout, if it wouldn't be for this workspace, for everything that they provide for the pipe community here in Chicago and internationally. I mean, look at our audience here, look at the people down in the tent, look at our competitors. They're from all over the country and all over the world. And, I'm just grateful for every single one of you for letting this happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So y'all witnessed the first battle of the Briar. I'm hoping that we can just continue to grow our culture and grow the craftsmanship. It was awesome. So I'm humbled. Thank you to the crew. Thank you to our audience. And thank you for our judges just sitting over there doing your work. Awesome.
Mention tomorrow they'll
Yes,
all be
yeah.
for the auction,
Well, I didn't
and then
mention the
we'll
film
do the
crew, too.
people's choice.
Also, I want to say thank you to the Get Piped crew and Jeff, the chef.
And Marcus Minitos, the Greek cutter.
Marcus Minitos for the Briars that he donated.
Yes.
That, artists take the raw briar and turn it into art. So
The unsung heroes of the pipe world are the suppliers to us, whether the people making the mouthpieces, the people making the ebonite materials that we get, the people out harvesting and cutting and preparing the briar for us. All of the briar today was donated for this event, donated for free from Marcus Minitos, who is a briar cutter in Greece. He is one of the best in the world, and we're so grateful that he offered to do that for the club.
And if you like what you see, it'll be available tomorrow during the silent auction. You can place bids on the 3 competing pipes. So if you like what you see, come on out tomorrow for the silent auction, place your bid, chance to own some art history. So.
Steve?
Jim, come on.
Come here, Hassan. Folks, I want you to meet. Come on, Hassan. I want you to meet a gentleman. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. This guy was everywhere. We had Zoom meetings before this thing got underway, from me down in Texas to Chicago and around the world. And Hassan made sure we all knew what we were supposed to do. Actually, he was like a workhorse. You couldn't get away from him. But he put it all together, got his crew together, and Hassan, you got a big, big thank you from all of us. Thanks for getting us through this.
Thank you very much.
Hassan, let's give that young man a big hand.
Obviously, our exact score numbers weren't the same, but we all agreed on position, didn't? No, we were off on one. We were on, but pretty close, pretty good.
So basically, you're done judging,
We're done judging.
and who has the scorecards? Jeffrey has the scorecards. All right. Well, listen, you all had a very difficult job. I would not have taken it. No offense to you all, but I was smarter. But well, again, yes. But plus, nobody asked me. But anyway, the what you all did tonight in judging, I know it was extremely difficult. And while Jeff is still scoring, let me ask you, just go down the line real quick. What was the hardest thing for you to score?
The finish. I mean, they're all, it's incredible what these guys have done in just an hour, and to get the shape and everything just right, and get all the scratches out. That's very difficult, and especially when you're really down to the wire like that. It's really, yeah.
Well, thank you. The grain on, I'm telling you. All right, Mr. Pulvers, what was the toughest thing for you?
Was the finish, just as Ted said. That was the hardest thing. And then very hard also is to reach inside and try and assess things like balance and proportion. Some of that is a bit subjective. I found that hard too.
And Dr. Berger, what were your thoughts?
Well, I also agree that the finish was really important to take a look at, and it was hard to judge between the three, but we did a valiant job. The the balance and form, because they were very different shapes, also had to be taken into consideration.
And just looking at them, of course, I can see the variance in the shapes, variance in the grain. But the one thing that I noticed just as an amateur, and not looking at each one and examining like you did, was those look like finished pipes that you'd see at a pipe shop, sitting up somewhere, ready to be sold. That's incredible. Yeah. Anyway, thank you to our judges. Let's give them a big hand. Okay. I'll give the numbers. All right, folks, we're moments away from the moment. The judges have completed their scoring. And once again, we thank the competitors so much for putting it on the line right in front of all of us. And we appreciate them so much. And boy, was the scoring close. But our third place finisher, beautiful pipe.
Pipe makers, we have results.
We start like we start like we don't know each other. Now we are good friends.
Uh, it was extremely close. And the third place finisher, and still back there drinking, is Scotty Pearsall. Scotty, come forward. Well, I started. That way you. Okay, we know who finished third, but if I tell you who finished second, then you'll know who finished first. So I might as well go with first, and then we'll go to second. Ladies and gentlemen, the first winner of the J. Allen Pipes and Pipestud.com presents the Battle of the Briar at the wonderful, beautiful presentation room put on by the Greater Chicago Pipe Club and the Chicago Pipe Show people. Our winner and champion, Tommy S. Corty, ladies and gentlemen. And now finishing in second place, and a good sport for letting us give the winner's name first, but he did a dandy job too, Jared Cole. No. There they are.
A round of applause for all three of our competitors.
And thank you all. You really need to give yourselves an applause. That's you were an awesome group. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can't pick up the pipes, but you can come close and look at them. The pipe makers are going to have them stamped, but you can sure take a look at them.
And Hassan's saying YouTube commenters want to talk to the pipe makers and ask them which their favorite pipe was.
Okay.
Yeah. No, because we don't want 50 sets of hands on them.
Especially an amateur like you wouldn't know what to do with a pipe. Jeffrey, why don't you make that announcement?
Sure. About the pipes
or whatever you got.
Oh, to not touch them? Oh. So our YouTube audience is asking a question here, and maybe you people here in the audience are interested in this as well. But folks, we have the World Wide Web online, and they're asking your thoughts on who made the best pipe or which pipe was your favorite.
We haven't seen.
No, we don't know.
They haven't seen the others' pipes.
No.
So let's let the pipe makers walk up and see each other's work and get their evaluation. So let's make some room, folks. Let's make some room. The pipe makers haven't seen everyone else's pipes yet. So we're gonna let the pipe makers look, and then we're gonna interview them.
What's mine? Sorry.
Yeah.
So this,
Tommy, what do you think?
Which one did you make?
Mine's not shiny.
Yeah.
I can't touch it. Jeff said I can't touch it.
yes, it's not shiny, but the shape and how she works is fantastic. The the proportion and the it's symmetric. I don't know if it's good in English, but it's perfect. Yeah, I like compliments.
Thank you.
Can you hold your own? Just like
And this is a very good shape and with few details not in a hurry. He can
Sorry, fellas.
understand
He's
it,
gonna work.
I think. I'm sorry, but in this situation, and very good, very, very good. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. All right, Scotty, what do you think? Let's have your thoughts. Why don't you look at the other competitors' pipes? So this first one here, who made that one?
The best pipe maker ever.
Oh,
Is there any other answer?
So she's now looking at Tanya Scorty's pipe. What do you think of this?
It's shiny.
Shiny.
Mine's not shiny. I ran out of time to get to the shiny wheel. No, for the time that we had, it's a nice pipe.
Can I have it?
Can you have it?
Well, I guess I'll buy it tomorrow.
And this is just cheating. I'm pretty sure he painted the lines on this one. I mean, it helps a lot to have the first pick.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Not that I didn't have the second pick and I just got the whole league.
There you go.
This is
We like wrestling for it.
my pipe is a religious pipe. It's holy.
Holy.
Look at Gerald. It's a holy pipe.
Holy pipe.
Must be treated with respect, even if it's not
And
shiny.
for the audience, I think we said at the beginning. Mike's went out. Remembering that no points were deducted for any
Oh, yeah, I know.
using Briar. So we know you know, but we wanted to remind other people about it.
They just kept showing up though. But I wasn't starting over with 30 minutes left.
And so Jared, you're the last one.
All right.
Let's get your evaluation.
I gotta get to something. Well, I'd like to keep them both. Switch the mic. Tomorrow, I suppose.
So we're looking at whose pipe now?
This is Scotty's pipe. This is great.
Sorry, guys, the microphone's died. Can you guys hear on this mic?
And I won't hold the holes against her.
I do.
Your husband is watching.
Thank you,
And
Troy.
I'd like to keep this one too. I'm still just super impressed that it is very shiny, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I like
have
this one
better
too.
pipe on the table tomorrow if you want.
Okay. All right, I'm just amazed that everybody was able to finish. I was able to finish, so thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you again, all of the competitors. Okay, we'll open this back up for spectators to come take a look at the pipes, and I think, Steve, we're wrapping up. I'm gonna shut the mic off and take them off. All right, for everybody watching here and everybody watching online, thank you so much for your attention, and I'm gonna sign off. Bye-bye now.
Good night, guys. I'm beat.
I do it when